Hello and welcome to this week's reflection for Henllan, Llanefydd and Bulchain. We're going to read from Mark this week from chapter 7 verses 24 to 37. Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know it, yet he could not keep his presence secret. In fact, as soon as she heard about him, a woman whose little daughter was possessed by an evil spirit came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek born in Syrian Phoenicia. She begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. First, let the children eat all they want, he told her, for it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. Yes, Lord, she replied, but even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. And then he told her, for such a reply, you may go. The demon has left your daughter. She went home and found her child lying on the bed, and the demon was gone. Then Jesus left that vicinity of Tyre and went through Sidon down to the Sea of Galilee and into the region of Decapolis. There some people brought to him a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged him to place his hands on the man. After he took him aside away from the crowd, Jesus put his fingers into the man's ears. Then he spit and touched the man's tongue. He looked up to heaven and with a deep sigh said to him, Ephphatha, which means be opened. At this, the man's ears were opened, his tongue was loosened, and he began to speak plainly. I picked this up when I was in the Holy Land in 2017. Basically, you had to put this on to enter in to the region where the remaining bit of the temple is from when it was set in AD 70 in the Holy Land, and you had to wear this on your head in respect of the sacred area that you're walking into, that wall, better known as the Wailing Wall. Those that haven't been may well have seen on the television. It's a prominent place for Jewish tradition, where Jewish people go regularly, and they'll make their way there to touch the wall and to lament, to make their cry to God. Why has God forsaken them? Of course, the Christian faith is based on the foundation. We are very much rooted in this Jewish faith. And our gospel readings today, they talk of how Jesus himself, a Jew, had an encounter with this people, and both Gentiles, both being shared the faith. And it's particularly prolific in the first part of the story. It's in two parts, what we've heard. Jesus at the furthest point away from where he's ministering over near Greece, this Greek woman, this Tyre and Sidon. It's the furthest that Jesus is recorded as travelling in scripture and historical searching. And Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. So there's this Syrophoenician woman that he encounters. And it's here we see that actually, as you get further down, he says he fell at his feet, and the woman was Greek and she was born into Syrian Phoenicia. She begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. And this is where Jesus says, first, let the children eat all they want, For it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. And Jesus is referring here to the children, and not just children, but the children of God. The people of the Wailing Wall, the people of his history, the spiritual ancestors of Abraham, Moses, people of Jesus' faith, the ones we've known more recently to be persecuted so horrifically during World War II. This is who Jesus is talking about, the children. First, let the children of God eat all they want, yeah? It's not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs. So we've already been talking recently in previous weeks about the unclean and the clean and the unclean. And so this is some more of this, and now in human kind of evidence, and it's this woman's answer, this Syrophoenician woman who says, yes, Lord, but even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. What love this mother has. What love this mother has for her daughter, her demon-possessed daughter. She wasn't prepared to say no for an answer when it said at the beginning Jesus didn't want to be seen. But she seeked him out. She recognised him. She knew to go and to find Jesus. And she fell at his feet and she begged. Yes, Lord, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. And Jesus instantly rewards our Gentile friend. For such a reply, you may go. The demon has left your daughter. It's the woman's faith, the strength of the woman's faith to believe that Jesus has the power to share, believe that Jesus will indeed take us seriously as Gentiles. And it's the question, and then Jesus moves on to another place, and at this point then it's other people that bring this deaf and this mute person to Jesus. And we have some shocking kind of, in our terminology anyway, and certainly at the moment, the shocking amount of touch. Jesus puts his ears into the man's ear to heal him, and then spits on his tongue in order that he's going to be able to speak. And those words he says to be opened, this the man's ears were opened, his tongue loosed, and he began to speak plainly. We don't know if that's what the man wanted. The other people came and asked for him. So these two sit side by side. And there's more to do with understanding. When we heard last week, Jesus was saying about understand. Hear all those who are able to understand. When he spoke to the crowds to give clarity on purity. It's the same here. There's the same symbology is being given in Mark's Gospel. Mark is speaking to the Gentiles in his Gospel, and he wants us to know. He wants us to know. He wants us to hear. We're hearing here in this scripture that Jesus is communicating to us to listen. The Gospel, the good news, is for all. Jesus says that God's goodness is not just for the children of God, for the Israelites, for the Hebrews. God's goodness in Jesus Christ is for one and all. And in all the difficulties we face in life at the moment, both individually and around the globe, these are sure things that we want to hear. So I want to finish with a prayer that we continue to ask questions, bold questions, like the Syrophoenician woman, which make a statement that's rhetorical. Even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. But questions into the pain, in the same way that our Jewish spiritual ancestors make their cries to the Lord at that wailing wall, in our pains, our losses. This is a time for prayer, a time when our faith, our strong faiths, begin to be most effective for us in life. I want to finish with a prayer for a questioning heart, to ask those deep questions of Jesus Christ. It seems to me, Lord, that we search much too desperately for answers, when a good question holds as much grace as an answer. Jesus, you are the great questioner. Keep our questions alive, that we may also always be seekers rather than settlers. Guard us well from the sin of settling in with our answers hugged closely to our breasts. Make us, dear Lord, a wondering, far-sighted, questioning, restless people, and give us the feet of pilgrims on this journey unfinished. Go forward and ask the deep, searching questions of Jesus Christ to shape us in our lives.